Ain't no sunshine when he's gone.
Miss
No
Henry.
sunshine when he's gone.
Make some noise if you're excited because today is going to be the biggest day we've ever had in the history of sales.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Let's
go. Well, we
Let's go.
appreciate having you here. This is our breakfast call. This is the call that does it all for y'all. Well, maybe not all, but it is designed to train, motivate, and encourage. We hope we derive at least one of those benefits if you're here for the very first time and you're like, hey, this meeting's pretty cool. Maybe I want to start coming back to them. Feel free to hang out with us after this call. We'll give you some news you can use on how to move forward. For the rest of us, we come here every day because we know that we're going to get some nuggets that help us to be successful. James, what is the top 5 ways to be successful in this business? Dialing. Inside joke. But I thought about that because Rashawn James wants to come off good. He wants some of that hot fire.
No, that's all. I was just gonna keep it going. But no.
So anyway, those that know, but everybody knows dialing is the key. You cannot give up. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Boo. The numbers will catch up. There's no such thing as a bad day. Bad days are myths. If you dial, the sales will come. If you quit, they won't. So the more, if you ever just remember, anytime you're dialing and people aren't picking up, not picking up is a form of no. And every no brings you closer to a yes. So if 100 people, if I dialed and 100 people did not pick up the phone, I'm not discouraged. I'm encouraged. Literally, like this is not spin or sales psychology. I like math. So I'm like, well, my odds get better. For every time somebody doesn't pick up the phone, my odds gets better that they will. So that's going to catch up. And then for everybody who's on the phone, if I'm dialing and people say, no, they don't buy, I'm excited again because the statistical probability of my sale increases for every no that I get. So you just saw it with Rashawn. It was like, no. All that probability built up, bang, 8 o'clock, the floodgates open, people start to answer the phone and they start to buy. That would happen to all of you. It's just a lot of times it quits before it happens. So what will happen is we'll go Monday. The law of probability catches up to you. It's just about to give you what you're looking for. You quit. You wake up the next morning, you start making phone calls, you get a sale, and you say to yourself, oh, I was in a slump yesterday, but I'm hot today. Then you start dialing again and you stop. Then you pick up the next day. So you never get that momentum. You never get the benefit of it. So if you look at your entire week, you've had success, but it took you 5 to 7 calendar days to do what you should have done in 2 calendar days. Everybody follow that? So like if you're doing hour talk time, you get to the end of the week, you have 5 hours of talk time and $1,000 of annualized premium. Oh, I had a terrible week. Well, you didn't really have a terrible week, you had a terrible day. Because all 5 of those talk time hours should have been on one day. You should have had your 1,000 AP, and then you should have unlocked another 6, another 6, another 6, another 7 for a total of 30. Everybody get how that goes? So if you stop stretching out, me, back when I was on the phones, whatever's going to happen to me, I was like, let it happen fast. So I wanted to go early in the day, early in the week, early in the month, and just condense that activity, get whatever I was going to get out of the 30-hour blocks, and try to create as many 30-hour blocks as I could. So if I had, 60 hours of talk time, great. I had 2 30-hour blocks in 1 week. Or if it was, 50 hours, great. I got 30, 50, and I got a 20-hour head start on the next week. Get as many 30-hour blocks as you can compress in a month, and you're going to make a whole lot of money. You don't believe it? Try it. Just like if you don't believe it, try birthday leads. Some of you are not trying birthday leads because you don't believe on Mr. Stewart. You think, oh, he's lost a step in his old age. His beard's getting gray. That means that he's poor guy, poor old fella. Well, I am older than I used to be, but I still know what I'm talking about. And if you have any birthday leads, I would highly recommend, I would highly suggest, I would go so far. If I could tell you to do it, I would, but I can't. So I'll come as close as I can to telling you without telling you. If you're not working your birthday leads, you're making a big old mistake. If you have birthday leads in your possession, I highly recommend that you call them today. I highly recommend that you finish them this week. You need to either finish them, make significant progress if you're not in a position to finish them, or show some sign that you care about your birthday leads. If you do not finish your birthday leads this week and or slash make significant progress, do not text me if your birthday leads get added to the orphan birthday lead campaign, because a lot of times nobody cares about the birthday leads until they're gone. You know, the people who do care about the birthday leads, the ones who are crushing it this week and crushing it throughout this campaign, making all types of birthday lead sales. And that's not even counting the expanded sales that they're getting from referrals. If you don't believe me, make some noise if you sold at least one birthday lead.
Yes, sir. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
And,
sir.
and it gets even gooder if we talk about the people who have sold orphan birthday leads. Orphan birthday leads are just real simple. These are the birthday leads of the agency that need a home. And you can give them a home by calling them and closing those sales. So this morning, if you have personal birthday leads, you should call them. You should start your morning with your birthday leads. You should stay in your birthday leads until you finish them. That way you might earn an invitation into the orphan birthday lead campaign. If you have access to the orphan birthday lead campaign and you'd like to keep that access, you should start your morning in the orphan birthday lead campaign. You should stay there all day, all week, and make a bunch of sales. Now, remember, this is an optional program. If you don't want to work your birthday leads, if you don't want to work the birthday orphan leads, if you're like, I can't believe I am being forced to work these birthday leads, you know what? I'm going to protest and not work them. That's okay. Because if you don't want to work them, we'll just find somebody who does. Make sense? You don't have to work your birthday leads. If you don't like the personal birthday leads, don't work them. We'll find somebody to work them. If you're in the orphan birthday lead campaign, like, I don't want to be here, I want to be someplace else, all you gotta do is don't call. That's your way of communicating to us. I really don't want to be here. And we'll find someone who does, like Andre. Andre Mitchell, he's like, bring it on. He's up there like, if you don't want those birthday leads, you just hand them right over to me, baby. So it's totally up to you all, but we've got to get these leads contacted. Is there anyone who is not in the birthday orphan league campaign? You're not. You're not in it. But you want to be. Raise your hand now. Right now, say, Henry, I don't have access. I like that. I like to have access, but I don't have access. All right. If someone could record these names, and we will review them for eligibility. You usually have to be here at least 6 months. You definitely have to have good quality, and you have to be coachable. But if you have your hand up, since you did, see, this is the benefit of coming to the meeting. There are some people that did not come to the meeting today, and had they come, they could have at least been reviewed to have their to be added, but they didn't show up.
Michelle Bloom.
And Michelle Bloom, she's not putting up her virtual hand, but she's nominating herself. We like it. So, is there someone from the leads department or some other department who can take a snapshot of this page and get it over to the leads department? Because I'm getting ready.
Henry.
You got it? All right, perfect. I see a couple of folks there that interesting possibilities there. All righty. Well, it is a very special Wednesday. Those of you that have been here for a while, you know how it goes. Last week was account check Friday. And so people got checks. Everybody's all happy. We're in the President's Challenge week right now. Who's going to get some of that President's Challenge money? Make a little noise.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody.
Get that money.
Let's
Let's all
go.
get
Don't
that
get
money,
that
brother.
money.
The same week that we have President's Challenge, we also have something called the Fireside Chat. And the Fireside Chat is when you get a chance to take the meeting over, because Rory and myself make ourselves available to answer questions directly from the audience. So at this point, you can put your hands down if you wanted to get access or at least get reviewed for a chance to get birthday orphan leads. Only because if not, keep your hand up. We're going to call on you to ask a question. But this morning, you're able to ask questions of Rory and myself of things that you are curious about. Common questions are wanting insight on our journey from where we started to where we are now. Sometimes agents want to know, hey, you guys are both dads. How were you able to balance your dad stuff and your business stuff and have success? Other common questions are, how do you think? Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm trying to make some sales. I'm just wondering, Rory and Henry, you guys seem pretty successful over the past couple of decades. What's going on in those heads of yours? Anything that's on your mind, it's open forum. We're glad to answer questions because here's what we're looking to do. We want to give you an experience that other people pay for. Many times, to get access to folks that have had some level of success in business in general, they will pay for these TED Talks and all this other stuff for a chance to listen. It can be even more difficult to find somebody who's had success in your industry. But it's pretty cool when you can talk to someone who's had success in business, in your industry, in your agency, doing it the exact same way that you are doing it or some variation of. So you can get some pretty specific answers to your questions if you are looking for them. Now, sometimes we open up the floor for questions and no one's had their coffee yet. And so they're like, I don't have a question yet. I'm waiting for someone else. If so, fear not. We always have something to talk about. So we'll give you a chance to ask questions. Once you put the question out, Rory and I typically decide who's going to answer it or who's going to answer first. But if anybody has any questions for us this morning and you raise your virtual hand, we will call you in order. If you don't know how to raise your virtual hand, you just won't get a chance to ask your question today, but that's all right, because maybe you can put it in the chat. If you don't know how to raise your virtual hand, we can grab it there. If you don't know how to use your virtual hand or your chat, when you get into your team huddle today, figure that out with your coach. And the next time we have a fireside chat, we will listen to your question. Right now, the first hand hot off the press, it was Rashawn Cochran. So Rashawn, the floor is yours, and appropriately so, as our agent of the day, with a head start to being agent of the day today with your anticipated 2 p.m. sale from your We in the Morning web call. Rashawn, floor is yours.
This question, I mean, either one of y'all could answer, but right now, I am, just like I said, burning on midnight oil and like 2.5 hours of sleep. I'm up right now, and I kind of feel like I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back to sleep. But at the same time, my brain is mushy. So I'm sure you've been there. What is your advice for me right now?
There's 2 pieces of advice. One of them you can't use. You've already exhausted that option. And the other one is what you should do. So the option you have exhausted is that you are working the West Coast schedule. So an option would have been to attend the 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time meeting open only to West Coast agents that are in the region of steel. That's why that time zone is invented for days like you had. However, as creatures of habit, you decided to get up. You're up now. Now you're trying to figure out what to do. If you were to go to sleep, you're going to go to sleep for a long period of time. You probably won't wake up for many, many hours. You'll probably destroy your day. And so therefore, Rashawn, you're going to have to do something I used to have to do back in the day many times, and it is called man up. It was always hard to do it. Like, oh man, I had a late night. I came in, I was riding, and I got 2 hours away from a territory. There was construction on the road. I got home later than I intended. Then when I got home, I had a honey-do list or whatever was going on, and I had to drag myself up, and then I had to make it up to myself tonight. So you're gonna have to man it up, Rachel. You got to focus. You're gonna need some coffee. Run around your house a couple of times. Splash some water on your face. But you know the best way to stay awake Talk to somebody. So you want to dial fast, put yourself on progressive dialer so you can't control the speed of the calls. If you're dialing yourself, you're going to dial too slow. Put yourself on a progressive dialer to make the action come at you. And then you want to close as much as you can. But good news, when you get to 5,000 AP or 6 PECs, you've got our permission to go to sleep. So you're just a couple of dials away, Rashawn, from sweet, sweet, blessed rest.
You know that you said that so beautifully. I'm gonna take your advice.
I would. All right. Good job, Rashawn. I got another big day. He's gonna sell his way to sleep, Eric. He's like, if I just make a couple of sales, I can go to sleep. Darius.
So my question was actually kind of similar. I didn't stay up. Kudos to you for staying up. I did not do that. Um, how do you combat that burnout? Like, you've been on the phone for a few hours, no one's picking up, you're staring at the screen. How do you combat that? I've been drinking a whole bunch of coffee. That's my only solution right now. But do you have any other advice for that?
Coffee's good. A couple other questions about your surroundings. So, number one, do you happen to have a mirror at your desk?
I do, yes.
All right, that's good because it's a little less weird. Like if you have something to look at other than your computer screen, that gives you a little bit of motivation. Also, too, do you have cheery surroundings? Like wherever you're dialing right now, is it cheery or dreary?
I mean, the sun shines in, but my desk points toward the wall, so it's both kind of cheery and also kind of sad.
Hmm. Well, make sure you have some happiness. Try to get some sunshine around you. Is your headset noise canceling? So, in other words, the noise that's around you, can your client hear it?
I work in a separate part of the house, so normally no. During the afternoon, my partner goes to work, so I'm with my toddler son. So sometimes, yeah, you can hear that background noise with my son.
Okay, well, that's all right. I'm just trying to get a feel for it to determine if you, um, like if you're playing music that you can hear, can your client?
No, 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 no. I actually never play music or put on the TV. I have ADHD, so I'm very easily distracted by that kind of stuff. So I try to like hone in on just being on the computer.
All right, don't do that one. And there's certain tips techniques that don't work for certain people. If you got ADHD, don't do that one. Now, when you're dialing, are you the kind of person that you sit there, you dial, you take zero breaks?
Mm, no, so I actually have because I know myself, I'll burn out a lot faster if I try to work through the whole day. Typically, what I try to do is I get on the phone around 9 and then I'm off by about 8 or 9, and I take an hour break about every 4 hours. So at 11, I take a lunch break from 11 to 12, and then I take another break from 3 to 4, and then I just work out the rest of the day.
All right. Let me hear that last part again.
So I take a break from 11 to 12, and then I take another hour from 3 to 4, and then from 4 on I work. So 4 to 8 or 4 to 8:30, whatever that time would be.
Okay. I'm going to give you one suggestion, and then I see James has his hand up and he wants to give you a suggestion. But if you're taking some reasonable breaks and you've got the mirror and you've got the cheeriest environment that you can have up to this point, something I said this morning used to work for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but it really used to work for me. Do you recall what I said this morning in reference to mindset when people are not answering?
Yeah, just to keep that cheery mindset that when someone doesn't answer, that's just getting you one step closer to someone that will.
Do you believe that?
I do actually. For the most part, I've been getting my talk time up the last few weeks. I've been getting a little bit better with it. And I think it's because I've kind of put myself in that headspace where if I dial, like you said, 100 people and they don't pick up, I know that, that pickup is coming. And I typically try to laugh off when I'm hung up on or when someone kind of like tells me off. I just kind of laugh it off and move on.
Are you triple dialing?
I am triple dialing, yes.
All right. If you are triple dialing and people are not picking up, I know this is a crazy way to think, but if everybody can turn on this part of your brain, it really, and I know you're like, Henry, you can't be telling the truth, but I am. Every time I dialed somebody and somebody did not pick up, I didn't. It didn't distract me. It didn't discourage me. It didn't do any of that stuff because I knew I was getting closer. One thing that we all have to be careful of, though, is sometimes when we quote unquote think people aren't picking up, right? And we get a little lackadaisical in our approach. Sometimes, if it's like nobody's answering, and then somebody does, we're almost surprised when they answer. And then when they say not interested or whatever they say, we're kind of not on our A game with our responses because we didn't stay alert during the process. So just be aware of that. Be aware that sometimes if you say to me, man, I dialed 50 people and nobody picked up, and then I went back and actually listened to your recordings, we'd find that 5 or 6 people did pick up, but the 5 or 6 people did pick up, they almost shocked you when they did. And you were like, oh, hello. Well, I'm not telling them. And then they hung up on you. So be careful that you don't lull yourself to sleep. But if you're not lulling yourself to sleep and you actually are dialing these people over and over again and they're not picking up, just know your pickup's right around the corner and your sales right behind that. James has a comment.
Thanks, Henry. My only comment, and I see, which probably talks about these people about it. Irene and Wendy saying the same thing is I get really bad ADD where my brain struggles to focus, and caffeine will only take me so far. As much as my gift joke to Rashawn earlier, I do drink a lot of coffee. But the reason you guys see me on 5 a.m. Club always outside, one, yes, I don't want to wake my family up, but there's plenty of places in my house to go get away from it. Is getting outside and getting a little sunlight is I don't like taking any form of medication, so I don't take anything for ADD or anything like that, but I have it. So sometimes I'm sitting here, I'm on Zoom forever, I'm talking to a bunch of people, and my brain stops connecting to my mouth, and I start stumbling over my words and getting a little confused. 10 to 15 minutes, but you have to set an alarm. This is why, and when everyone hears me with this, when you actually break down your day and your dials, if you just get up. If you're like Wendy, you can get a walking pad. That's what I started doing. But if it's nice enough outside, if you can get up, don't wear sunglasses, walk outside, don't look directly into the sun, but walk outside and just move. Like just pace up and down your sidewalk. If you got a neighborhood, take one lap. And I'm telling you, no matter how out of shape you are, even if you walk really slowly, the blood flow to your brain in a little bit of sunlight, and then you come back on no more than 15 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes instead of taking a big hour break. Break some of that up into 10, 15 minutes. Track it, time it, schedule it, hold yourself accountable. That's what I have to do. But I will come back so much more clear and refreshed and all that stuff if I just take 10 minutes to move, because sitting is going to just drain you of that. And so if you can get up, move for 10 minutes, the dopamine that kicks in, it'll cheer you up, it'll give you a better mood, it'll give you a boost of energy. I think Andre knew what I was going to say because I just watched him do like 15 jumping jacks. So, there it goes again, right? But you do something like that, and I promise you, just a little bit of blood flow, no matter who you are, no matter what shape you're in, and a little bit of sunlight, if there's any sun outside, will change that. But you have to hold yourself accountable to, okay, I'm going to go for 10 minutes, and I'm going to come sit right back down because you'll have so much higher tonality and energy and focus if you do that, and your clients can hear that. And that's why Henry was saying the mirror, right? So I always have a mirror, or if you don't have a mirror, use Zoom. But then you do that, a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of blood flow, and I promise you, your tone will increase, your voice will increase, your enthusiasm will increase, and your clients will be able to perceive that as they answer the phone. So,
Their truer words have never been spoken. So that's how you do it for Darius
Thank
and
you
everybody
so
else.
much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So we want to get you guys on the phones by 9 a.m. sharp. And we know that you guys have huddles to get to and all that good stuff. So we're going to take our final question of the day from Nile No Breaks. And then we're going to turn you loose so that you can produce, because we know that you guys have some records that you want to break today. So Nile, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So we're all here to, put in good work, help people make decent money, make a living. That is all great. But I think every now and then we need to know about the heights of the heights of the heights that we can achieve by using these phones as ATM machines. So I want to throw it to Henry and Rory and anybody else on the executive team that wants to tell us what has been your favorite purchase of 2026, and if you haven't made it yet, what will be your favorite purchase of 2026? That all this hard work we're putting in, with Sean staying up late at night, all of us working through the tiredness and the boredness and the nose to get to something we want to get at some point. What have you guys experienced this year, or will you experience that we can kind of broaden our horizons by learning about?
Hmm. Does any member of the executive team want to volunteer any cool recent purchases or any cool recent or any cool anticipated purchases?
Henry, a lot of people, mine's probably my house. You know, I've got a new house, and a lot of you on the call were down here at my house. What was that in January, Henry?
Yep.
So who on the call was at my house for that sit-down dinner we had in January?
That sounds like a really nice experience.
I was there. It was cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, a lot of people on the call. So it was really good for me because, you know, I remember growing up.
Awesome.
Growing up, a lot of people in my circle had their families had money, and they belonged to the country club. In my family, I really didn't have money. I think a lot of you know my parents were divorced when I was young and 10 years old, and we moved out. That caused us to move out of a house into a really small house, which actually our family, my brother lived there. Our family just sold about 3 or 4 years ago for $27,000. My old family house. That's with the price going up. So I didn't have any money, and I came to somebody was looking at my house the other day, and some worker, and he says, "Wow, you must. What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm in the insurance business. I came here in 1977 with $200." A lot of you I'm not bragging to say that. I'm saying the reason I'm saying that is, how many people on this call have $200 right now? I think probably just about everybody. So you can take it to wherever you want to take it. I mean, this house is like 12,000 square feet. There's a house, then there's a guest house, then there's a garage that holds 5 cars. And so I'm proud of this. And I got this from doing the exact same things that you guys are doing now. I remember when I sold my first policy. Maybe there's some people on the call here, Henry, that never sold their first policy. There probably is some new people. So I sold 1, and then I sold 2, and then I sold 3. And I just wanted to make every day as productive as I possibly could make it. I mean, I would just, the saying, squeeze the fat out of the day. We all have fat in our day. So just make the day, every day, as productive as you can. Rashawn, try to get to sleep a little bit earlier so you don't have 2 hours of sleep. I don't think I ever worked so much that I had 2 hours of sleep. But Rashawn mentioned that he started the day late. So I would always start, and might have had appointments and important things to do, but I would always start my day. I'd get up around like 6:30 or something like that. And I'd again we were talking earlier, drop the kids off at school. My sons were the first ones at school. Now James's little boy, JR, is the first one at school. And I'd go to the office. I'd have an office. Mr. Racine had an office, and I'd always be there by 8 o'clock. So I'd start my day, my work day, bang, right at 8 o'clock. And I would just examine it like every 6 months to see, where am I wasting time? Where can I get some more time? Because I kept needing more time as I hired employees. Well, now I need more time. So I do another 6 months. Where can I get more time in the day? And even to the point with dentist appointments or eye appointments or something like that, I'd schedule them so it didn't break my day up. It didn't break my day up. I'd try to schedule them. I didn't let them tell me when to come in. I said, when's your first appointment of the day? They say 8 o'clock. When's your next 8 o'clock opening? Because I wanted to get that appointment done so it wasn't in the middle of my day. I'm just rambling here. But I mean, make days really, really, really productive. And you guys can have, here's a kid from Pennsylvania. I always talk with Max about Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania, born in Pittsburgh, and I grew up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and didn't have much. And, it was in my class. I wasn't like a scholar. I was like in the middle. We had like 290 people, I think, in my class. I think mine, what do you call that, James? Where your class rank? Class rank. I think I was ranked like 157 or something like that, or, so, it doesn't, you don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to have anything. You just have to have a lot of internal drive, and you can have anything you want to have.
Very, very true. And one thing about it, a closing comment that I give to everybody. So I've been here 15 years. And so that means when I first met Rory, he was about 35 years into his career, approximately. Prior to that 35th year, I know he had a lot of success because he and I driving around Vero one time, I saw the house that Grant grew up in. And, Grant went to private school. And, I know what kind of cars Rory was driving during those years. So it's not like you're broke for 49 years and then year 50, you make it. The season that Rory is in right now of success, it's been a long season. Now he's gotten more and more successful. The cars get better, the houses get better. But that first, step up that many of you are going to experience, it's not going to take you 50 years. It's not going to take you 40 years. It's not going to take you 30. It's not going to take you 20. But it might not happen in one. Right? So some of us, you worked at SLS for 1 or 2 years and you think you're a grizzled veteran. Like, oh man, I've been in this game for a while. You've not been in anybody's game. You worked 2 years of doing anything, music industry, sports, insurance. You're not a grizzled veteran 2 years in. So sometimes our expectations, like, when am I going to get my Bentley? You will get a Bentley if you want a Bentley, but it's going to take some work. When I get whatever it is, you're going to get it. But think about everybody around you. Okay, all your friends and relatives. Does anybody go to Sprint or go to, the post office or go to anywhere and work for 2 years and they're trying to figure out their retirement plan at that point? No, your family would think you were crazy. You would think they were crazy if they're like, yeah, I've been here 2 years, looking to retire but some of us, our work effort, everything just drops off a cliff after a couple of years of being here, and that's the mistake. So to answer Niall's question, you can have fun, you can make a bunch of money, you can be successful, but you need to really be thinking about, okay, I need to put in a good 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And that's when you really can make some financial leaps forward. But every year should be getting a little bit better, right? Okay, 6 figures, pretty good. All right, let me see what 172 a year. All right, let me see what 201. So yes, 6 figures, and you're making those incremental steps, but you have to keep the effort. You have to keep working. Because James is living proof. When James came here, he wasn't rich. When I came to SLS, I was doing all right when I came here, but my SLS money greatly increased. I definitely made a lot more here at SLS because I walked in making the same thing you made when you walked into SLS at zero SLS dollars. SLS had paid me zero commission the day I walked in the door. But every year, SLS paid me more and more and more because I did more. I was working harder. So keep using these meetings to motivate you.
Henry, can I bring up another point?
Sure.
I'm talking about work ethic and squeezing the fat out of it. But another thing, I mastered the tools that I had when I started at 22. I didn't have many tools. So it was easy to master because there weren't many there. But I didn't have SLSU, right? But what I did have is I had the company, for every product we had a product guide. And we had an underwriting guide for every product. So I knew where the line was drawn underwriting wise on every product. There was no SBCs then. So, if you're on a presentation, it was just you and the customer. So I mastered what I had. I could shut my eyes and know every single thing about every single product I had. You know what I mean? So my advice for all you guys, in today's world, in addition to the work ethic, you got to keep getting better. You got to keep getting more up here. You should be, after a month, your skill level should be a lot higher than when you start. After 6 months, you should look back and say, man, day one, month one, I don't know anything. Look what I know now. And how you do that in today's world at SLS is you master the underwriting, you master the product guides. All that stuff is in SLSU. Oh my gosh. I don't know where I'd be now. If I would have had SLSU when I started, I'd be in that thing every day, learning. I'd figure out how to play it in my car. So if I had a 20-minute drive, I'd be listening to SLSU. All the trainings. Don't miss a training. You never know when you're going to get a nugget. You get a lot of things that, okay, you don't really need that. But if you get a nugget here and a nugget there and a nugget here and a nugget there, don't miss any trainings. Master SLSU, master everything you have, and you couple that with a real good work ethic, and you're going to do really well. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make more money every year. You're going to get a car. If you don't have a car, then you're going to get a nicer car. Then you're going to get a nicer car. You're going to get a nicer watch. You're going to get nicer clothes. You're going to be able to rent an apartment, be able to rent a better apartment, be able to buy your first place, be able to, a few years, be able to get a nicer place, then a nicer place. And if you want that, I mean, you can absolutely do that right here. So work ethic, get the fat out of your day, get the days more productive, master every tool that you have in your arsenal. Henry.
Absolutely right. And where does it start? Now, right? When we hear these meetings and we think about all the things that we want to do in life, where it starts is what happens in between the time that you get motivated and the time that you get on the phone. And then what do you do once you're on the phone? That's the difference. So if anything moved you at all, let it move you to action. You want to get your 6 PECs today, and don't give up on yourself. Are you going to get tired? Yep. Frustrated? Yep. You're going to get all that stuff. The difference is successful people push past it, and they don't do what they want to do. They don't do what they feel like doing. They do what they need to do. So we're going to have to man up today. We're going to join Rashawn Cochran. We're all going to man up. We're going to woman up. All right. We're going to up. We're all going up. And we're starting by going straight from here to the breakout rooms and getting on the phones. Coaches, go ahead and get your team motivated as quickly as possible. Take the 5 minutes or so required to get them going. And then you know where you need to be ASAP. So we're going to wrap this call up with a reminder to make excuses. Only results count. The lot say the more you believe, the more you believe, the more you sell. If you're going to give today, you're all. If you're not going to give up, if you're not going to quit until you get success, if you understand all your dreams and goals are before you, if you stay mentally tough and put in the WORK work, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No excuses. Only results count.
The results count.
Only results.
Record day.
Only
Results count.
Excuses only results.
Record day, Henry.
Record day, because they're going to work all these birds.